Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful week of the Enchanted Spreads. Boy, do I have a story for you all today. And if you love the Enchanted Spreads, then you know already that these are meant to hit in on the harsher points of life, but in a simpler way with fairy tales and fantasy and folklore so that it can be a little bit more relatable and less of the harshness. So today I have the great story of the Light Princess. Okay, the Light Princess. Now, this is a story all about being ungrounded virtually. Now, this one is a trigger friendly one here because this one is really going to hit in on some of us. Me, I'm one of them, right? So, the Light Princess is a story about a baby who's born to a king and queen who so badly wanted to have a child. It took them a long time to conceive, but eventually they did. And the king was so excited. He rejoiced and he wanted to tell everyone about this. And so he did. But he forgot to tell one person, one very important person, his own sister. But his sister was kind of cruel, and she's known, just like in many stories, to be a wicked witch. And they'll always be up to something. So, of course, her not being invited, that really ticked her off. So she showed up anyways to the baptism of her niece. And she chose to cast a spell by throwing some potion into the water that the baby got baptized in. She spun around 3 times and she said an incantation, which virtually made the baby as light as air. They would have to do things to hold the baby down and tie things to the baby and put weights down so the baby wouldn't fly away. The issue with the baby being so lighthearted is the baby also had no feelings. So how we are, we have emotions, we have thoughts, we have feelings, but when you're light as air, right? Your mind kind of goes to the air. You get really absent-minded. You don't have the time to think about people. We call these people airheaded. We call these people very lighthearted. And then she also could only find joy and not feel any emotional connection to things. It was just always happiness, always above the cloud, her head in the skies, which can be at points a great thing. But then you think, well, where's your emotional depth? When can you have the capacity? See, this princess couldn't cry. She couldn't feel. She couldn't do anything. She'd just be airheaded. So over time, it got to a point where it was like, wow, we really want her to start feeling emotions. We really want her to start feeling things because she is missing out on so much of life because she's not grounded. She's not grounded like so many of us. We're ungrounded, our heads in the clouds. We seem to want and fantasize about things that are not very realistic. This story is one of a harsh reality, right? Because one day she does have to truly feel emotions. She one day meets someone. She meets a prince. And of course, to be able to have any of this curse broken, she must be able to cry. It's the only way that this will work. She can only feel any kind of weight when she's actually in water. When she swims, when she's in, just as the baptism. That is what the curse has bound her to. So she can be in air, she can be in water, but she cannot be on land. But she cares for the prince and she likes him. And the prince says, you know what? One day he has to go and save this ocean. And of course, in all fairy tales, it's a crazy story of how all the oceans dried up. And he has to go down there and plug this hole to make the ocean work again. So he goes down there to save everything. And he says, can you please come with me and keep me company? Well, in fear of losing her lover, she actually ends up crying and has emotions because now she knows what it feels like to actually care for something and to almost lose it. This breaks the curse and she's able to walk on earth. Now, you may ask, hey, what does this have to do with us? Oh, it has everything to do with us, right? Because we're so quick to block off emotions. We're so quick to say, why do these things happen to us? Why do bad things happen to us? Why are we always being hurt? Why are things always coming our way? Well, if they didn't, we would have no emotional depth. Okay, we would be nothing. We would be lightheaded, we'd be airheaded, and we'd be up in the clouds. We'd be oblivious. We look at people who are younger than us and we go, oh, you'll see when you get older. But we've only seen when we got older based off experience, based off life happening to us, based off us loving and losing. We're always so quick to say what we don't want to happen, but we don't appreciate the things that have happened. And sometimes it does have to be a little bit harsh, and sometimes it is a more serious situation. And we may not want it to be that way, but that's how we become grounded. This is how we start to get sensitive to situations. This is how we start to be able to have capacity to care for others. I always say it's love and light, but no BS. You can be a light worker. You can be someone who wants to give. You can be someone who has emotional depth, and you can have that capacity to care. But you can only have that capacity to care if you've been through that situation, if you can have the empathy to someone. But if you never truly experienced it, then you can't truly give someone such advice. You can't truly understand where someone's coming from. So much like the princess, you will be hid in the clouds, not recognizing what these other emotions that other people can be. You're oblivious, and you can live in this happy bubble because you don't see any realisticness in life. The thing is life is full of lots of harsh realities, and we have to appreciate the good and the bad. The princess would have never truly known what love was and to be able to have a family until she ended up caring for that prince, until she was able to feel emotions and get her head out of the clouds. Okay. This is a card of telling you to come back to your reality, to get out of the fantasy world. So if you're asking yourself, what is it that is making me go, why is my life this tough? Why are these things happening this way? Why can't things go my way? Well, then maybe you should be switching that mindset too. Maybe these things are happening because they're changing me, they're transforming me, they're making me more relatable to other people. They're giving me depth to my character. I'm having context to who I am. I'm not just above. I'm not just feeling like I'm above everyone and beyond everyone and better than everyone. No, I have the empathy to care. And a lot of times, empathy and our conscious minds mix together, and sometimes we can be conceited and we have that ego, which is why they say empaths can sometimes have that ego, but can also be empathetic too. So don't allow your emotions to get so above you. Don't allow your own energy to become so mighty that you can't be grounded. You can't feel emotions. You can't give back that love and the capacity to care to others. That princess had her freedom and her will taken away by someone, but she also found a way to get it back. She also found a way to have capacity to care, and we have to have our way to care. And we also have to recognize that we too sometimes have to go through some tough experiences to become that person that we are, to be able to love and care for the others the way that we do. So I hope that you guys found some context in this story that can relate to you. I hope that you take something away from this and learn from the experiences as well. Guys, we have so many other great contents and so many other great YouTube shows. So please make sure you check us out and stay tuned for our next podcast. I'll see you next week.
Now what's this